Nigerian Military. Yes, it's a beautiful morning. It's the 5th of January 2023. Yes, like I told you earlier, I said we will this beautiful morning because morning is a time where we have to dissect and make issues right? Yeah, today morning, I'll tell you good morning. Welcome to the talk zone right here on Armed Forces Radio 107.7 FM. Of course, I'm not alone this morning. I'm with Hope Joseph. Good morning, Hope.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Moms.
The topic we are looking at today is Nigerian contemporary economy. What is the way forward? Nigerian contemporary economy. Now, is what is the way forward? Well, we'll be talk on this issue today. I have a bright guest with me, a very talented person. He's into the economy sector and he has done a lot, when it comes to economic development. Talking about the name of my guest is Emmanuel E. Bassey. He's a group managing director of E Group of Companies. Welcome to the studio.
Very much. Good morning.
Yes, it's nice to have you on the talk on Armed Forces Radio.
Definitely also a pleasure here.
I really love it when I see young people trying to pull through good things in Nigerian economy, trying to add to the betterment of Nigerian economy. It's something I really love most times.
Talking about the managing director of Erne Group of Companies, who will be talking to us on the way forward. And of course, other plans he has in mind.
Yeah.
To for Nigeria.
For Nigeria. So now, Mr. Emmanuel E. Bassey, well, my first question would be: what is your take on the Nigerian economy today?
Okay. Thank you very much once again. My take on the Nigerian economy today, like you rightly say, is we are doing great. But the thing is, we are not where we want to be. We are not where we are supposed to be. So, effectively, I'd like to say that as much as we have come this far, there's still a lot of work to be done, and the work that has to be done require a lot of intentional efforts, a lot of deliberate attempts. Calculated deliberate attempts to see that certain kind of result is produced. It's not going to be magic. It's not an ambiguous process at all. Nobody just wakes up in the morning and hope that something changes. No, we will have to work the change. So that's the state of Nigeria's economy today. So people have to see that there is a structure and more like a planning system around that, and it must be very intentional.
Now, you said we're not yet there, right? But what do you think the Nigerian economy, what do you think we are getting wrong, basically?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to look at the areas that touches me as a person, okay, and then also my company as an institution.
Okay.
I think we'll look at the subjects that has to come from, we talk about unemployment in Nigeria. Okay, now, so unemployment is a major topic. But the challenge with the Nigerian or African unemployment statistics is not so much that there is unemployment, is that a lot of people are not employable. I'll give a very good example. A group of companies, we're a group of companies and we have about 7 subsidiaries. We conduct interviews for people to be employed. So one of the challenges we face is in a scale of 100, okay, after the interview session, you find out that you probably have about 2, 3 to 5 people that look like what you're looking for. So the question
is, out of maybe like 10 people conducting?
In a scale of 100. So 100? Yes. Wow. Now, that's how bad it gets. The reason is people just hear there is a job opportunity and they run to it. So it's not that there are no job opportunities. Like a lot of people are not employable. So that challenge persists. The reason is because most of there is no system in the Nigerian economy in such a way that we see that we're able to engage in a very productive manner the next generation from the educational sector there has to be a structure around that ensures, because somebody leaves. So one of the things we find, a very good example is you get a CV and the only experience you see there is NYSC internship and probably a voluntary thing someone did somewhere for just 6 months or 3 months. So this person is coming to the job market and you're looking for a 5-year experience. Where does it start from?
Okay. I want to cut you there before you go further. Now, since an economy has to do with the workforce, right? The power is on the workforce. Now, when you say someone is not employed, now, for example, a mechanic, a carpenter, to a teacher, to whatever. When you say someone is not employable, what do you mean? What are you saying? Because somebody might be listening and the person might be thinking, oh, am I employable? Am I not employable?
The things are a little black.
So the thing is this: how do you measure your economic value as an individual? That's the question.
Can you say that again?
How do you measure your economic value as an individual? Okay, so the question now is this: if I have a challenge that requires, in search for 1 million naira, for example. Okay, so I need 1 million naira to start my business to advance, and I want to check my economic value or to know how employable I am or what need I can solve. The question is, what need can I solve for one person to find that solution I'm providing so valuable enough that they can give me 1 million? If I check my wealth of wisdom, wealth of experience and knowledge, and I find out that there is no need, no solution I can provide to the economy that can make someone find that need valuable enough to pay 1 million for, I begin to think, I say, okay, can I solve a need for 2 people to find my value, my wealth of wisdom or experience or this solution valuable enough to pay 500,000? I check myself again. If I can't do that, I break it down. So I can break it down to, can I solve a need for 5 people? Can I solve a need for 4 people? Can I solve a need for 10 people to pay me 100,000? Can I solve a need for 20 people to pay me 50,000? So I keep breaking it down to the point where I find out that, oh wow, I think this is where I am. So you check your economic value that way. So when you say people are not employable, what we're referring is, many a times people don't know that money is literally exchanged for value. Okay. So until you have a need you're solving and you provide that need in such a manner that people find it economically valuable enough to exchange money for, you literally can't really do much. So people come in and then all they think is, I just want to get employed. I'm just paying me. I will try. No, there has to be a specific need you're solving. Every employer is looking for 4 major things. Number one, every business or institution is looking out to make profit. Okay, so if you are and someone's searching for a job or you're looking out for opportunities, if you can show any institution, any organization how they can make more money, they don't care about your religion, they don't care how you look, they don't care who you are, they will employ you. Number two, every institution or organization wants to retain and increase their customer base. If you can provide solutions for any institution or organization that teaches them or shows them how they can retain and increase their customer base, they will employ you. Now, another thing is that every institution or organization wants to stay innovative. The pace of technology today and the growth is alarming. So if you come into an organization and you're not solution oriented, you can't show them how you can keep them innovative consistently. That is, they can beat the trends and stay ahead of. If you can do that for any organization, they will employ you. Regardless your religion, regardless how you look, who you are, whether or not you have a certificate. Another thing is,
I was about to say, does that have to do with education?
Now, the thing is this. I just want to mention the first one before I come to the subject of education now. If you can provide solutions to show any institution or organization the capacity you have to keep the organization or institution relevant for the next 2, 5, 10 years, I promise you they will employ you.
And pay you well.
And pay you well for it. So the margin is what value, what need are you solving in society that makes you economically relevant? Do you understand? So now, the subject of education coming in on this matter is that education has different dimensions or expressions. It's not just the formal education as it were, okay? There is something you have in society today as some people refer to it as street wisdom. Yeah, street wisdom. So by experience they came about these things, okay? So the thing is this. There's a difference between being educated, that is, you went to school, studied the course and whatever, and being schooled in that thing. Some people go through school, some people the school went through them.
Yeah,
Okay. So people, maybe because of economic issues, they just pick a course, they just go through something. So you find such situations as somebody who studied medicine, and today they are selling hair, they are selling perfumes. You find someone who is studying law, and that's the issue. So it's not an education thing, okay? So let's put away the certificates. The question is, what can you do? You walk into an organization, you walk into a company. What need can you solve? You're coming into the organization, know one thing for sure, they are going to be paying you. So what need can you exchange for that? Okay. Some years back, I came across a very renowned MD of a company, and one of the things Erne Group of Companies was meant to consult for his business, and he said something to our consulting team. He said, if you can show me how to make the company, so we asked for certain amounts of money. So I'll give an example. He said, okay, if you can show me how our company can make 10 million every month, okay, I'm going to pay you 2 million. That's a challenge. Outright, he said, I'm going to pay you and I'm going to have it signed. So his principle is this. He said every staff in the company must be able to generate enough revenue to pay 2 other staffs. If you are not solving need in the company every month enough to generate revenue to pay yourself and then 2 other staff, what are you doing? So a lot of people come into spaces and all they think about is, okay, I just want to get a job, security and all of that. But what need are you solving? You will be excited with yourself walking into that space when you know that you're relevant. So when they talk about downsizing, you can't be adding that much value and they think of downsizing you. They say, oh, they are letting go of staff. They can't think of you, because when they look at you, on top of your head is the salary of 4 other staffs. Nobody can think of moving you. So that's the divide from the formal education, as it were, to actually moving from the point where, okay, I've learned this thing, how can I apply? So the application now to the point where it now becomes economically relevant is where the divide is in the unemployment statistic of Nigeria and then that of Africa.
Now, there are times you talk to young persons and you tell, they come to you like, I want to work, and you ask them, what can you do? They'll say, just give me any work, I just want to do anything, I can do anything. Now, does that boil down on the educational sector or the individual itself? Because when somebody comes to me that he wants job opportunity and I ask, what can you do? And say, I'm just looking for anything, just to do anything. Would that have to do with the education or the personal person himself? Is it hardship that leads to that? Maybe.
Okay. I'll answer that question in 2 ways. Number one, you find situations like that, people who probably they don't have an opportunity and they feel that all they need is an opportunity, they could make some effort, okay? I think that is, first of all, a kudos to any young person who goes that far to say, you know what, I may not have the qualification, but just give me something, I'll try, I'm willing to learn on the job, okay? Now, so that is, first of all, like I said, a kudos to the young person who does that, okay? But then the onus is also on the young person to see that you develop yourself intentionally in a particular area. That is, let people know you for something. Let people know that, okay, this guy can design.
Okay.
So you may come into a space and the skill they need there is not exactly a competence you have, but you can propose. I usually tell people, you say there are no jobs. You can create a job. You can go there and say, okay, you people need this. I understand you need this, but based on my study of your organization, I also realize that you are deficient in this area, and I have that skill to solve this problem in that area. So you can literally create. So it's both a kudos to the person, a young person who says, you know what, I may not have all the skill, but let me give myself to some effort, okay? And then on the other end, that is not excusing you from the responsibility of having to develop yourself to see that, you know what, let me think of relevant skills. So 2023 is here. What are the relevant skills that will make you relevant in the job market as a young person, or make you economically relevant? Okay, it's online. I think one of them has to do with critical analysis and problem solving. So look at those areas and study them, check them out, and develop yourself in those areas. At the least, if you don't have the qualification, like I said, beyond the paperwork. Today, with the way economy goes, you can fabricate any paper anywhere. Anywhere. So you can't judge someone by saying he's a graduate. So people can go as far as working with the schools or whatever, and when you call, everything is authentic, but sit down and solve a problem based on what you just showed me, he can't. So it's not so much about the certificates. Do you understand? It's not. Apparently, Erne Group of Companies is employing a group of young people, okay, that I promise you, if you saw them at the time, you would probably not think of giving them an opportunity because they don't have the papers. But we put them to job, we put them to test and said, you know what, you said you can do this. We have a system that allows us to do that, which I'll talk about later on. You said you can do business development and management. Okay, let's give you a test. So we employ them at project management stage. You say, okay, you say you can do this, right? We'll put this project to your care for the next 1 month. Give us results. That's it. It's result oriented.
Now, in Nigerian economy like this, is a mixed economy where the public owned and private owned. But you can never overemphasize the importance of the private businesses, companies like the Erne Group, for example. Now, would you say private businesses, companies, will you say they've really added much value to Nigerian economy the way they should have had it?
I would say this. 3 years ago, I was interviewed by the TV 360 after the elections, and one of the questions I was asked was, what's my expectation from the next government at the time? And my response was this: simply a partnership pari passu the private sector and the government. The truth is this: the government is not meant to provide or bring all the solutions to the economy.
Sure.
We need to understand that and let it sink. That's not the job of government. Government is meant to prepare and design amongst giving opportunities, okay? But primarily to prepare and design the environment conducive enough so there are policies that governments bring into play that ensures that the economy strives, that allows for private sector institutions to come in and help drive the economy. Most of what the government do is, for example, in a very large scale. For example, let's look at the medical sector, for example, okay? The general hospitals. It's cheaper for the average person out there, okay? But there are certain quality kind of medical services that you cannot find. How many general hospitals can we ever have? We need the private sector to increase the bar of quality. So when we say, okay, we have certain hospitals that are way expensive or whatever, but are they giving the real value? Can they really save lives that we don't need to travel abroad? So it's that partnership. It's not that government is meant to do everything. So there's a role the private sector play, and that role is very, very important. And when we start recognizing that and seeing that this is a partnership and not one person laying blame or putting the whole thing on the other, realize that we are meant to be working this out together. So that's the angle from which I look at it. So the private sector has a major role to play in economic development, as much as major role to play as much as the government. But the government has the responsibility to prepare the enabling environment, the policies that allow for that to happen, and then its effective operations.
Okay, we're looking at Nigerian contemporary economy and what is the way forward. You are the group managing director of Erne Group Companies. So far, what does your company do in order to curtail the rate of unemployment? Because you made mention of so many aspects where you figure we should do. You also look at some challenges you also made mention. So what is the organization really doing, to curtail or probably improve the system so far in what you've been doing?
Okay, first of all, Erne Group of Companies is a group of companies that play in different industries. Okay. So we have all our subsidiaries are registered. So we have Erne Oil and Gas. We have Erne Healthcare Center. We have Erne Media. We have Erne Integrated Sustainable Investments. We have Erne Bank in View and a couple of our subsidiaries. Now, one area that we paid attention to with one of our subsidiaries, which focuses on human capital development and management, and then business development and management, is this subject around unemployment and employability.
Unemployment
and employability. Now, like I said, the challenge with the statistics of unemployment in Africa and Nigeria is not so much of the fact that there are no job opportunities, but people need to be more employable. Okay. Now, so whenever we conduct interviews, for example, one of the things we do, so I'm going to tell you how we have put this to practice and then how we have put up structures in the organization that allows for this process to run. And this is our own way of helping the economy. Okay. Now, so whenever we conduct interviews, for example, and certain people are not qualified for that role. Now, we take it as a responsibility, and this is something we have done in the last 2 years now. We take it as a responsibility to conduct a 1-week human capital development training for free for those who did not even get. And one of the things we shed light into there is, first of all, tell you why we did not employ you. And that's
for the training.
Now, it's as blunt and beautiful. That's the thing now. So you find out that even when we put that kind of an opportunity, seldomly do you find as much people come for it. It's free. We are saying people don't show up. Then those who show up, you find out that they leave that place, enlightened. They are saying thank you like 1,000 times from the training center downstairs. They're like, oh, thank you. Why? Because these people found the value in it, and then you even put up, reach out to certain people to come for their interviews, and they are not checking their mails. So someone calls you 3 weeks after, 1 month after, and tells you. So even at that, so we conduct series of interviews for certain roles just to see that we do our part to contribute to the economy. So even after we've given the opportunity for trainings, one of the things we also do is we say, you know what, peradventure you walked into the interview session, you had a bad day, or the interviewer didn't like your face, or maybe you dressed improperly, or something went wrong. Let's give you a benefit of that. We say, okay, we will introduce you during this training to all our services across the different sectors and the different industries, and we are going to give you an opportunity to prove yourself for 1 week. So you know what?
Like probation.
Beautiful. So we're going to give you a 1 week probation. So we put up this structure in such a way that we even have a policy that's influence our organizational structure. That's our organogram. So in our organogram, at the tail end, we have 3 categories of staffs that come into the company, 2 of which you are very conversant with, which are contract staffs or intern staffs, okay? But then we added another category, which are protege staffs. So at the intern level, we say, you know what, you've gone through the trainings, you know why we really employ you, but we're also going to add something to your life and say, okay, just so you don't come into our interview funnel and just walk out depressed, okay? So we're going to introduce you to our services, find any of the subsidiaries, and then prove yourself and say, I may not have done well with my talking, with my prove a point in the next 1 week.
Okay.
And I promise you, we have seen all sorts. Or because we also have a system that allows them to sign certain kind of contract, because that indemnifies us from any form of illegality, so that people don't go out there, because we also owe them responsibility to say, okay, you're given an ID card that allows you to operate, as more like an intern staff of the company for that period of time, So we put up certain perimeters, and a few of them come up with some degree of productivity. Some you just realize that's so you just realize that when I say people are not some people are not employable, that's just what. So some people just mess up the whole process. Some people mess up the whole opportunity. And like, you have an opportunity to prepare yourself for 1 week. Why don't you just go all the way? Like, this is your 1 week of working with this institution. Just do it with everything you have.
Apart from that, I've also learned that even when you decide to go for the training, it's also a way to be trained for another open doors. Probably if you're called upon by another company, you cannot use the experience you had with the Erne Group companies to showcase that you have the quality it takes to be taken. It's quite unfortunate in Nigeria. We don't value when something is just free. Someone can just say, I want to do something for free for you. They don't. But when you involve money,
you know why?
People they will start to pay for the money. But when you say, okay, let me give you something free, they won't take it serious. Okay, that was that. Let's look at something quite interesting here. An event coming up soon on 21st of this month, talking about the organization titled the unveiling of the Black Hands Pan-African Company, and the subsidiary of the Erne Group Companies gave birth to that. So what is it all about?
Okay, the Black Pan-African community is simply Africans building Africa for Africans and for positive, sustainable global impact. Now, the thing is this: many initiatives have come to Africa as a continent, come to Nigerians, and many of these came on the wings of charity. Just like you said, people don't appreciate these things. That you got books for free doesn't mean someone didn't pay for it. The books were not printed free. Do you understand now? And so that whole air of benevolence and all of that is being abused. And so one of the things you find out that many initiatives are coming to Africa or to Nigeria, or even from Nigeria or from Africa to other nations, they lack certain models, and I'll just highlight them very quickly. Number one is that they are not sustainable.
Okay.
Because they are dependent on the goodwill of people. And I promise you, people won't always be very buoyant enough to always be helping, to always help all the time. So they are not sustainable. Okay. Now, another thing you find is that many of them don't have a very strong and robust accountability system. So just like you find in Nigeria, benevolence, COVID-19, and you see all manner of things. People who just keep bags of that thing in a warehouse, and so there's no robust, strong, firm accountability system around these structures or this kind of initiatives. Another thing you find there is many of these initiatives are not transgenerational. So what I mean is this: somebody comes up with a passion to, commit their lives to impacting a generation, and after they are gone, that's it. There is no generation after them that says, you know what, this legacy will live on. That's why you find many brands, businesses in the Western world stay on years after years.
They were even born to come and see.
They are transgenerational. So there is no system and structure that allows for such initiatives to be transgenerational. So now the Black and Pan-African community has factored. So what we have is more like a constructive critical approach to all of this. Okay. And we said, you know what, you're going to be solving 5 major challenges as a community. So the Black and Pan-African community is Erne Group of Companies saying, we have done human capital development at a very large scale. First of all, I also did not mention, probably I used the opportunity to appreciate the federal government of Nigeria. We have been doing human capital development training for a while, I think for some years now, 5 to 7 years, not just in Nigeria, and then but in the Republic of Benin as well. We proposed that we wanted to implement a training model for learners and trainers in the educational sector in Nigeria, and the Federal Ministry of Education scrutinized our training model for like 2 years, about 2 years, and then finally gave us an approval in 2021 to implement our training model all over Nigeria, and then directed us to do that in partnership with institutions, educational sector, schools, government parastatals, and private, and then in the public sector as well. So that gave us a lot of very robust platforms to be able to, because the truth is this, human capital development is very major. So what we did is this: the Black and Pan-African community combined all the services of Erne Group of Companies and said, you know what, let's give people an opportunity to assess the best of our company's competence because of their membership into a community. So it's like saying Dangote Group of Companies says for you to enjoy certain services of Dangote Group of Companies at a subsidized cost implication, subscribe into a community, and on the strength of that, you can gain advantage to so kind of services. So we put up all our services together and said, become a member of the community as an African. As long as you're an African, become a member of the community and get advantages on all our services for a period of 10 years. And we are focusing primarily, first of all, in the educational sector. And we're giving out a 90% scholarship, 86% scholarship, and 80% scholarship, annual subscription scholarship
for students.
For students and Africans. So institutions, especially in the educational sector, we're giving out a 90% scholarship for institutions in the educational sector. Okay. To take advantage of our training models and then enjoy these services for 10 years. Wow. So it's not, the reason is we want to see how, because the truth is, if you want to cause transformation to occur, it's not magic. There is a process around it. So we want to see how we can do a reculturalization process. So we are reaching out to young people from the educational sector, from crèche, primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. Okay, so that's just education sector, and we are adopting 12 schools in every state.
12 schools in every state. You intend to move around the 36 states.
The 36 states.
Wow.
And we actually have certain, I think that was sometime 2 weeks ago, we had some invitations to some African nations already. On the strength of this, to implement our training model in the educational sector, and then they also want to participate as members of the Black and Pan-African community. So we are shooting this from Nigeria into other African nations.
Just like the society begins at home.
So the unveiling of the Pan-African community is literally, it's like Nigeria making a statement to say we are not just, so the tagline is Africans building Africa for Africans. So we are saying we are not, like you said, charity begins at home. We are not just hoping that someone comes to do something. No, we are taking responsibility and saying, let's build ourselves, let's develop ourselves to the point that we become too admirable that other people want to
come to Africa.
So what you find is on the unveiling, we are looking for the Pan-African community is meant to have all African nations represented, literally. All African nations represented. There are 9 benefits of being a member of the Pan-African community. You can see that on our website, you can see that on our social media platforms. And we want to see, basically, like I said, that as a company, we don't just hope that transformation occurs. No, we are actively engaged, and you can hold us accountable to seeing that we are part of the transformation that goes on in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole.
The theme of the conference is paradigm shift. Should I say you have responded to the question based on what you've just said so far?
Okay, paradigm shift. It's like I said, it's paradigm shift. Let's stop complaining. Let's stop saying everything is bad. We already know things are bad. So the question is, what can you do?
Nigeria.
Do you understand? Okay. So what can you do? So Erne Group of Companies is taking a bold step to make a statement to saying we are not complaining any longer. We are saying this is what we can do.
Okay.
Are you following? So, for example, our courses range from 250,000 to about 5 million now, and then certain of our services are quite not very, very cheap. What we said is this: we said for institutions and for organizations, why don't we do a system that allows us to provide the same service, the same quality of service of something that is worth 250,000 at a 90% scholarship subscription annually for individuals.
Okay.
Are you following now? Yeah. So instead of people paying 250,000 for our trainings, okay, or for any of our services or the subscription as it were for 1 year, that's saying pay 25,000 as long as an institution. Why? Because institutions help us solve 2 challenges. Okay. Number 1, we want to impact 1 million Africans in the next 1 year as a company.
So it's not about the money now.
It's not about the money now. It's that we want to be the reason why 10,000 businesses rise up in Africa. One will be the reason why 1,000 young people in the educational sector rise up, and we don't want to do that by assumption or by a secondary influence. No, we want to do that by a direct influence. That is, in the next 1 year, we can point at 1,000 people and say, Erne Group of Companies impacted 10,000 people in the educational sector. And it's a verifiable statistics, not because you are trying to get favor from somewhere. No, it's a verifiable statistics, and it can be accountable. So we can tell you, go to Staramari schools, we impacted this number of people, go to, and you can go there and verify. That's it.
Okay, listener, in case you are joining us, this is Armed Forces Radio 107.7 FM. Of course, you're on to the talk, where we're talking about Nigerian contemporary economy. What is the way forward? Of course, our guest has been Emmanuel E. Bassey. He is the Group Managing Director of E Group of Companies. Of course, myself and Hope have been engaging him, and of course, he has been able to attend all our questions. I mean, I'm so excited when I see young persons doing great things and wanting to impact other young ones, because when one young one impacts the other, and then we have a great nation called Nigeria. I mean, the Elon Musk, we know, they started young like this, they started like this. So, Abuja, Nigeria, we still have more to talk about. You know, Nigerian economy is a very complex economy. When Nigerian economy falls, the rest of Africa's economy will definitely fall. Now, I think Nigeria now is the biggest economy in Africa right now. Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. Will you say, us being the biggest economy in Africa, will you say we have gotten to where we are, right, at this time? Being the biggest economy in Africa is not showing in an average citizen.
Okay,
what do you think is really
I think you can say we are the biggest economy in Africa.
Yes.
Based on certain perimeters. So the question is, what are the perimeters that judge, being the biggest economy in Africa?
Our gross domestic product.
Okay, so when we are considering our GDP and all of that, you can talk about that, but the question is, do you bring it home, like you asked, to the average man on the street? Okay, whatever. It's almost as though when you want to look at the trajectory of Africa, whatever goes on in Nigeria, it's almost as though
the rest of Africa
it influences and then touches all of Africa. So, to be sincere, I can't say that we represent holistically what the statistics say.
Yes.
But one thing is sure. We are not where we used to be. That is just one thing that is sure. Just like you mentioned, there are, I believe, there are other young people in different industries, in different sectors that are not even probably listening to us right now, that are doing great things, whom you never know of. Erne Group is unveiling the Pan-African initiative that's engaging Africa in a very large scale. That's why we are on this platform. But there are people in the villages. There's someone somewhere. So I think, like I said, instead of looking at it from the perspective of how much we have not done, is what can we do? Okay, so we are the biggest economy in Africa. How can we really represent that we are the biggest economy in Africa?
It doesn't really reflect in the life of the common man.
So you as a common man on the street, now you know that Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. How are you contributing to Nigeria being the biggest economy? Do you understand? So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of accountability and responsibility. Do you understand? So there's probably someone out there, like I said, who is doing something amazing, but we don't know them. So it is the aggregated efforts that will finally bring it to reality, or bring it home, to make us also, or the average man on the street also agree that truly we are the biggest economy in Africa because of certain kind of results. So we all have a role to play to bring that into reality. But as for saying that are we there yet or are we not there yet, we are obviously not there. It's too obvious.
But we are the biggest economy in Africa.
Statistics says so.
Statistics say so, and statistics doesn't lie.
It's possible to also
It's
possible to also live in past glory.
Past glory. I mean, this is just 2021.
No, past glory is always like, okay, people always know us for certain things, but are we really sustaining it the way it should? I traveled to one of these states, and I'm sorry, I'm going to mention the name of the state. anyway. And the first thing I saw when I entered Yoking was like food basket of nation, and the statute is there, you know. But the question is, wow, are we really? Is there really food in this country for this state for people to really fed and say, look, this is a food basket of the nation that we all used to know. So these are the things we have to be asking ourselves. Okay. So
past glory.
I'm not out to that point, but that's the reality.
Past glory is no glory.
Okay, because it's past.
It's past. It's past because basically, like I said, I think the crux of the matter is thank you. It's more like us saying to the statistics community and saying amazing job, thank you very much, and we come back home and say, guys, we both know that we are not doing this, so what can we really do to match up this thing they are calling us?
Mr. Bassey, this issue of sycophants are really killed us, you know. That's what we are today, in terms of we are not only being realistic whenever issues comes up like this, you know, trying to we tend to put everything in politics. If Mr. A party is not doing well, we'll turn it to against Mr. B parties, but the reality will still remain because it reflects the life of the common man, and when the common man is being affected, we cannot say we are doing well. Okay, your event is coming up on 21st of this month, so let's talk more about it because we no longer have enough time. Yeah.
Okay, the unveiling of the Pan-African community basically is, like I said, we want to give the common man
The voice. All right.
And not just a voice, we want to make a statement instead of waiting for the government to come do something. So as a company, we are saying, you know what, we can do something and we are doing something.
So who's qualified to be part of the program?
As long as you're Nigerian,
okay,
as long as you're not African. So the black hands is just symbolic of a people group, okay? But in real sense, Africans are not blacks. I think we are more brown, skin colored. So it's just symbolic.
I'm black.
We are not blacks. You know, it's just symbolic of a people group. So it allows for people to easily relate to it. So as long as you're Nigerian and African, you're welcome to this
program. Okay, the event's coming up on 21st. Okay, for in case you're interested to be part of the event, that's coming up on 21st. The number to call is 090 6394 0782. 090 6394 0782. I don't know if I'm fast, but let me take it slow this time. 090 6394 0782. All right.
Yeah, why don't you come and get impacted? Because knowledge is all you need to get the ball rolling, especially in a great country like Nigeria where you have lots of bunch of talents. Why don't come and discover your talent with the Erne Group of Companies? And now, as we wrap up now, Mr. Bassey, can you kindly tell us the major challenges companies like yours face in a country like Nigeria? Because I know your company is not the first and will not be the last in this kind of good thing you're doing.
Sincerely speaking, the major challenge we face is people are used to mediocrity.
Can you break it down?
No. So the society or the environment somewhat give some allowance for certain kind of mediocrity. So as a company, when you're bringing in certain kind of value, it takes a lot to communicate it to your generation, communicate it to people to the point that they are looking for the way out, the easy way out. So one of the challenges we face is the corrupt culture that is already in existence. So the average young person just wants to, the quick way, just something to get quick and just get it done with. No one wants to go through the process. But the truth is this: Erne Group of Companies are going through 3 major transitions, and I can tell you for free that everything we are today is a result of the process. I was talking to a very senior friend. And I told him, I said, if I would not trade the transition and the process and the challenges we faced as we grew as a company against an easy way out. If I look back down the years, okay, the reason is this company has grown from ground up, and we have been in a situation where we didn't have enough resources to pay our staff. You have lots of monies at different times. Do you understand?
Wow.
So the commitment you now have with a team that stays with you through that process, you can't buy it.
Absolutely.
Okay, the character, because for me personally, I think it's character. The character that has grown, through the process of that whole growth and all of that, I think is priceless. So the challenge you face is that easy way out. That's okay. Can I just quickly get something? Just no. Let's go through the process. It's not easy. I promise you. You would want to quit 1,000 times. But it produces in you character. And lastly, on this note, what it produces in any institution, like ours, is staying power. Staying power. Through thick and thin.
Wow.
You'll be there.
That's the word. Through thick and thin, you'll be there.
All right, thank you very much. In case you're just tuning in, we have been talking with the Group Managing Director of Erne Group Companies in the person of Emmanuel E. Bassey. He's been giving us an awesome exposition on what we have to do, talking about the narrative that he is about to unveil, talking about the event that's coming up on 21st of this month. So thank you very much, Mr. Bassey, for coming around the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, listener, thank you very much for also staying and listening to us. For further inquiries, you can call 0906 394-0782. All right, that's how far we can go. Thank you very much, Mops. My name is Hope Joseph. Have a wonderful day ahead.
All right, Abuja, Nigeria at 9 a.m. That's it will be time for the news in brief. Don't touch it that. Keep it locked in right here on Armed Forces Radio.